Barbara started her 7-step journey in August 2020. As Barbara explains, the Christmas before the pandemic, I retired and was looking forward to finally doing some of the projects in my clutter that I had always put off doing because of work. Every time I had a blitz, I would remember what I had planned to do with the things in my clutter, so I just moved them into another pile, telling myself I would do that project or activity when I retired. I was 68 and my husband had died the year before, which was a reminder that you can't spend your life waiting for a better time to start dealing with your clutter than today, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. I thought the pandemic lockdowns would help me to get focused on getting started with all the projects I had put off starting and were in my clutter. I had no distractions other than a daily call from my daughter. When I tried to decide which of my many projects to do first, I froze. I found myself looking at my clutter, really looking at it for the first time, and I just felt instantly overwhelmed and emotionally exhausted. I got online and there were lots of people who claimed to have the magic wand that we're all looking for, but I'd tried them all before and they hadn't worked. I even paid an expert a lot of money to come to my home to help me have a huge blitz, but that was incredibly stressful and just made it worse. Now I know why. When I found Clutter Clearing and Clare, I realised that it just felt right for me. I like the fact that you don't spend more than 2 hours a day working on your clutter, so you're not having to put your life on hold to clear it. I also really like the fact that Clare doesn't come to your home. I know that feeling of having a stranger in your home looking at your clutter and feeling judged. I joined a couple of Clare's social gatherings and then I applied to become a private journey member. I knew that if I didn't have accountability to Clare for making progress every week, my journey would become like all the other projects in my clutter. Something I did intensely for a few weeks, then occasionally, and eventually I would have given up. That all made sense when I learned about being in time on my journey. I felt impatient multiple times on every step of my journey, which often made it hard to focus and just trust Clare in the process. I was impatient to start working on the bulky clutter that doesn't change on steps 1, 2, and 3. When you start seeing it, you just want to deal with it. On step 4, I really struggled with limiting my decision-making time to 30 minutes when I was working on my big and bulky clutter. When you see it working, you want to do more, which of course is one of the many mistakes I made before the journey. I felt resistance many times on my journey, especially when I successfully cleared my first area. Having succeeded at something I had failed to do for decades, I felt invincible and impatient. Clare had to talk me out of skipping areas and rooms on my room order list. I realise now I didn't have enough experience of making decisions to deal with the bigger areas and rooms, especially given the volume of strongly emotional things in my clutter in the bigger areas and rooms. I'm glad Clare was tracking my numbers because I didn't always notice the shifts in my decision making. Seeing that on step 3 I was letting go of 35% of my clutter, and by step 7 that had increased to 90%, really brought home to me that often the changes we make are so subtle we don't even realise they're happening. My daily check-ins and weekly paperwork sessions are now second nature to me and part of my morning routine, which is why I know I am now clutter-free forever. To anyone who's struggling to accept that they won't be able to clear their clutter as fast as they want to, or as fast as people seem to on the TV programmes, I tell them to think about what fast means to them. I tried without success to clear my clutter for over 30 years before I started my journey. I completed my journey in 4.5 years. If I hadn't started my journey, I'd still be as cluttered as I was 5 years ago, before the pandemic, if not more cluttered. As I stand here now, completely clutter-free, 4.5 years sounds fast to me. You can clear your clutter fast or you can clear your clutter forever, but you can't clear your clutter forever fast. To find out how I can help you clear your clutter forever, without the need for an expensive home visit, click on the link with this video and find out how I can help you.